Welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. I'm your co-host Cicely,
I'm your host, Hayden.
and our co-host Matthew is here today. Today we're talking about Barbarian. Came out in 2022. It's rated R. It's an hour and 42 minutes long, and it got a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. A woman staying at an Airbnb discovers that the house she has rented is not what it seems.
Oh, yeah, that's a short and sweet one.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
I thought
You were waiting for more,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Go ahead and read the question then.
Last week, Michael Myers' mask is supposedly based on what famous actor? Answer, William Shatner.
You
Now,
didn't know that one. You should have, because I'm pretty sure we said that as one of the
Yeah, I think we said it too. And
fear facts for
could
that
you
episode.
imagine being William Shatner?
Man, like,
Aw,
oh, I'm like the scariest face ever. Like,
oh man.
I didn't think I was that ugly.
Come on, guys.
No, he's not
Me?
ugly. But that's kind of funny that they took basically a Star Trek mask.
Yeah, basically.
Basically, and then just made it like white.
Scary.
So let's get into this movie here.
Let's get into it.
I enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I mean, it didn't really do anything that I thought it was gonna do,
Yeah.
and I'll explain what I mean by that in a little bit. So it opens on like a rainy day,
Uh-huh.
and I thought that this was like the start of like something like she was gonna get abandoned or something, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like she was gonna pull off to the side of the road, couldn't find the house, and she's like walking in the rain for like an hour, and she finally finds it or something, you know what I mean?
Could you imagine? I would never.
There's a lot of things in this movie
Yeah.
I would never do personally.
Same.
But she goes to it opens to an empty Airbnb as well. It was, I guess, supposed to be empty to begin with, and that was like the whole thing of the movie, was that there was supposed to be nobody here.
There. Usually how Airbnbs are.
Yeah, normally. But there's, so this is the part that kind of explained, I think we talked about it before, how I said in the trailer, she said no one was supposed to be in the house, right? And then she
Uh-huh.
goes up and starts ringing the doorbell. Remember how I said
Yeah,
that? And I was
yeah.
confused as
Like,
to why. This part explains it. There was a light on.
Yep.
A light turned on inside, so she went up and rang the doorbell.
She's like, oh, someone is
Yeah,
here.
so that makes more sense to me. That was the only problem I had with the movie originally. I was like, if no one's supposed to be inside the house, why are you ringing a doorbell
Yeah.
like someone's gonna come answer? But so there's a guy already inside the house, which is never usually a good sign, considering you're supposed to be there alone. But one of the first things that, as I said earlier, that I would not have done was go inside.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't have. Especially if
don't-
I saw a light turn off.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know the guy,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't. I mean, she didn't have too
Hell no,
many
you're
options, and he said,
crazy.
I'd rather you be in here safe, but like, how do you know he isn't
Yeah.
a serial killer
Yeah.
or something, you know? And he put his own house up for rent on Airbnb to get people to show up so he can murder them.
Yeah. Wouldn't be a, bad idea.
From his
Yeah.
standpoint, yeah.
Be like, oh, just,
And I'm just gonna say it now that this entire movie just tried to force me to believe that Keith was the killer or
Yeah.
something.
literally
Like he was
the
gonna
whole
murder.
time.
Like they did nothing to make me think otherwise.
Uh-huh.
They made him super weird and creepy, and had a few moments in there that
Did a
I
good
thought
job
he
at
was,
that.
yeah, that I thought he was gonna jump out and kill her or something. But yeah, it was definitely strange. Anyways, so she decides she's just gonna call around the city for a hotel room, and she called the first one, and they didn't have any rooms available. That's when Keith realized, hey, you're probably not going to find anything because there's a convention in town. That's when I would walk right out the front door and get in my car and go home.
Mm-hmm.
Or somewhere, or sleep in the car.
Anywhere else.
You can
I'd
lock
sleep
the
in
car
car
doors.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. It just... She was a little more trusting than I would have been. So, they made he told her what was going to go down. It was like, you take the bedroom, I'm going to go on the couch. Which makes sense. I would have felt safer if he would have said, listen, there's a lock on the door. Why don't you go in the bedroom and sleep? I would have been like, okay, well, maybe he's not trying to kill her.
Yeah.
But they did that on purpose to not make me think.
To throw me off the scent.
They were like, why don't you just take the bedroom and then try to make me look like a good guy?
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the night, I'm just going to kill her.
Yeah, I can bust that door down.
Yeah. But, they're sitting around like that little table in the kitchen drinking some wine and stuff, and they finally find some common ground, I guess you could say. They finally have something to talk about, which was about the jazz stuff. Yeah,
Hello?
is that right? About the jazz stuff, saying that she's having a job interview for a documentary about some jazz person.
Yeah.
That I didn't know who it was.
Me either.
But he also revealed some information that he was a founder of the Lion Tamers.
Period.
Which she knew what that was. I didn't know who that was. But she was like flabbergasted that he was one of the founding members of it. And the way he said it kind of seemed like he said it to like make her trust him or something.
Yeah. Like, hey,
I'm not the guy, but I'm one of the guys.
Of them. It's pretty cool.
And I thought that tiny little interaction from him was a little strange. But I didn't look too much into it, but it did kind of seem like he may have been.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, it was a little weird. But they had fun that night, and this was all in the span of waiting for the sheets to wash and dry. Because she's, I guess, must be like some sort of germaphobe, but also
valid.
Sleeping on sheets that a total stranger slept on minutes ago.
Not germophobic, just
normal. But they finally go to bed, and they're still having fun with the whole blanket thing where you put it over his head, and I thought that was really funny. I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about.
I know.
I don't know what that thing that they were doing was. But whatever it was really funny from him. Which, Bill Skarsgård's really funny.
Yeah.
But, so they go to bed, and they fall asleep and everything, but this is where weird things start happening.
Or it starts to get freaky.
Yeah, and it starts to make it seem like it might not be Keith that's the killer, which I'm kind of glad about.
Yeah.
But it's also like, what's
then
actually
who
happening?
Is?
Yeah, who is?
Didn't make any.
So, for at least one more final time. Well, no, there were still a couple more, but they creak open the bedroom door, right? And then you hear Keith making noise. I thought he was going to be standing inside the room, like, staring at her or something. I didn't think that...
Could you imagine?
That would be creepy. But it didn't. It wasn't him. Well, he was still making the noise, but he was out on the couch asleep. He was having, like, night terrors or whatever. Which is better than the alternative. That he's just standing in there staring at her. I don't know what I would do if I saw some dude standing at the bottom of my bed while I was in this.
I'd shit my pants.
Yeah, probably. You know, you say that a lot. There's a lot of things that would make you shit your pants.
Yeah, this doesn't take much.
But, they both go back to bed, and they wake up. She wakes up. And she goes outside, and the neighborhood looks much different than it did in the dark.
Yeah.
And I mean, to a certain extent, you would think she would know it because of the headlights. Probably could have seen
What's going on? Yeah.
the broken down cars or something. But the houses, those definitely look different.
Run down.
Because if you look, like in the nighttime part, you know, I didn't pay close attention to the houses, but they looked like normal houses, you know? But then in the daytime, not so much. So, that's, you know, odd. But, apparently, you know, well, she goes to the interview, but apparently it was a good interview because, you know, they were happy and laughing and followed each other out of the coffee shop. But there's also, like, a weird interaction between the two of them. She said where she was staying in our Airbnb.
Yeah.
And the other lady was like, really? You should be careful or whatever she said. I was like, this is weird.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it kind of felt like there was something that, you know, that was going on behind the scenes, but it was still kind of making it seem like it was Keith.
Yeah.
Like they still didn't help, you know what I mean? They didn't make us not think it was Keith until like pretty soon in the movie, but it was still kind of weird that, I don't know, it was just a weird interaction to me. It was kind of awkward between the two of them. And plus, how would you feel if you said, oh, I'm staying in this Airbnb in blah 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 city, and then they were like, what, really? Like,
I would leave.
I don't know about that.
Immediately.
Yeah, I'd immediately go home, grab my stuff, write a note, leave. People say that bad things happen here, or make something up just to get him to leave. You know what I mean? And then Keith just leaves and goes home.
I'd say, go home, please. Trust me. Just trust me.
Yeah, just trust me. Here's my number.
Trust. Here's my number, by the way.
But, she returns home, and one of the weirder things of the movie happens, and that is the guy chasing her. I'd be rightfully scared, just like she was.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah, but she was pretty terrified, which is
Honestly,
understandable.
Same.
Yeah.
I cannot do chasing.
No, you can't do chasing, but it was also weird that, like, when he was running after her, he, like, screamed, "Hey, lady!" and, like, ran after her.
Hey, lady!
And was like, get away from that house!
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could walk and be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Like, you didn't
Hey, 1 sec, can I pick your brain for a sec?
Yeah, something like that.
Don't just scream
and
run.
Chase, because it's clearly
That's
she's
totally
going to be
the
scared.
wrong thing to do.
But, she called the police, and the police said we don't have any units right now. So, at least the guy's not getting arrested, because we needed him later in the movie, but also it kind of doesn't bode well for the rest of the movie by saying, you know, we don't have any cops available at the moment, so we can't come and help you. But she gets locked in the basement now. It's pretty freaky.
Yeah.
What a great
great situation to be in.
Yes, that's it. And it's not even like a normal basement like this, because normal basements have like a cellar door to the outside. Or I would think that most do.
Some sort of way out.
But this one is one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
And the windows won't open.
Awesome.
This is just shaping up to be one great time to be spent in the basement.
Yep.
But now she's, you know, snooping around trying to find a way out, and she finds a rope, and she pulls the rope, and there's just this strange door in the wall. Like, it's like a hidden door. And she pulls on the rope, and it opens. I mean, yes, you need to find a way out, but, like, I'm not going in there. And I thought it was funny that she, like, looked at it and was like, nope, and, like, walked away and sat on the steps. That's my immediate reaction.
She did the right thing.
She did the right thing, but then she eventually did go in there. My thing is like, shut the door and wait for Keith. Going
wait
in there
for the big guy.
will not help you, especially down a dark tunnel that you can't see anything in. And she didn't really have a weapon. or anything. Like, I'm not going in there empty-handed, you know what I mean?
Why would you?
No.
You're crazy.
But Keith does show up and lets her out of the basement.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. But this is probably... No, there's one more that I can think of, but here's another moment that the movie made it seem like it was Keith, where he didn't believe her. And the way they did it, which compliments the Bill Skarsgård too, was that they made the lines that he was saying seem like he was trying to get her to go with him to lock her in the basement and murder her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way he was saying is like, nah, I don't believe you. Why don't we go look? And he didn't say it like that, but it was like the way he was saying things made it seem like he was trying to drag her down there. And it was like, all right, now once you trust me and we get down there, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
But there's also one more moment that kind of made it seem like Keith was the killer. But anyway, Keith investigates the basement, finds the secret door. She yells down, Keith, did you find it? And all we hear from him is, yeah, that's it. So, she goes down after him because he's not answering. And she finds a second door past the creepy room with one bed, a camera, and a bucket. Finds another door / tunnel, whichever one you want to call it. And this is the final moment that made it seem like Keith was trying to lure her somewhere. Was he was like yelling from the bottom of the tunnel, right? Saying that he needed help and stuff. So she goes down to the bottom of the tunnel and his voice is further away. You know what I mean? Like there's like a left turn and down at the end of the tunnel is where his voice is coming from.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't hear that at the top of the steps.
No.
So it kind of made it, for the last time, made it really seem like Keith was luring her down there.
It really felt like it.
And she was going. And she kept going.
Crazy bitch.
I was like, listen, you gotta stop. You gotta turn around at some point.
You gotta quit going deeper down this hole.
But she did go down deeper. And she finds Keith, who was on the ground crawling at her, trying to lure her further in. And saying, no, I saw the creature that way. Something bit me. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean something bit you?
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on? He's like, we gotta go this way. I know the creature's not this way. So they start going, and this fucking thing, I didn't know that there was a creature in this fucking movie. I thought that, like, a real person was the murderer. Like, I was expecting Keith to be the murderer, and I was waiting for the reveal. And then this fucking thing, this woman...
Disgusting.
So
scary
just
looking.
pops out of the darkness and fucking beats his head off the wall, Keith's head off the wall, and bashes his brains out. So obviously Keith ain't the killer.
Yeah, clearly.
But literally, that was like... Obviously, that was the defining moment that Keith is not him. But it's also like... This movie took a 180-degree turn.
Yeah.
Like, it was going one way, and it just turned completely
the
opposite
other
direction. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And this scene was like 10 seconds long. Like, she beats his head off the wall, right? And then you see, what was her name? Tess, right? You see Tess scream. And then it just cuts to black there. Like, we have no idea what the fuck just happened. It was almost like a shock value scene.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, cool. I get it. That was pretty well done.
Well done.
But, like...
We'll give you that.
That's not in any way, shape, or form what the fuck I was expecting this movie to be. But, yeah, the creature kills Keith. So now, I was actually starting to like Keith. He is now dead. I was just very weary of him. I'm like, he's definitely the killer. Who the hell else is going to be the killer?
Yeah, who else could it be?
But I like him. He's a cool character. And it's like...
He's a cool guy.
But I got to remind myself he's the killer. Anyway. It introduces... Because I knew Justin Long was also in the movie, and I was waiting for him to show up too, But this is the part that Justin Long actually shows up. So, he's in his car singing a song down the street, and he gets a phone call, and we find out his name is AJ. We find out his character is accused of rape, which, as we've seen lately in the last couple years, that, you know, not everything is as real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't say that, you know, when a girl is accusing a man of rape, don't believe her or anything, but like, okay, it happened. You got raped. Can you please prove this to us? Like, do you have even one tiny little shred of evidence to prove it? No matter how small. Doesn't matter. I just need something. Because, you know, I mean, Johnny Depp was accused of beating Amber Heard. Found out that's not true. You know, Justin Roiland, he got fired from everything. The voice of Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay.
He got fired from everything because it said that I forget what exactly he did, but there was no evidence of it. But he already got fired from everything. So it's like, did this actually happen? But he says it didn't. So he's accused of rape. Maybe it didn't actually happen. That's what we're sticking with at the moment. But he goes to the property. He gets the keys off the, you know, property management company people, whatever the hell they are. And he goes into the actual house. And not only, you know, is Tess and Keith gone, they could have like stepped out, like went somewhere or something, but like all their shit's still laying around. So he's very confused about what's going on. So he goes into the bathroom, finds a makeup bag, and finds a toothbrush on the floor, which I thought it was weird he put his toothbrush on the floor. That's too close for me.
Yeah, why are we doing that?
No.
Why are we doing that?
I don't like that.
Don't love that at all.
No, I don't either. Anyway, he sees all these like pieces of evidence, you know, of people being there, right?
Yeah.
And he calls up the rental company or whatever, and was like, "Hey, did you rent out the house to somebody?" They're like, nope, not this week. And he's like, well, I think you're lying, because we got a bunch of crap here. We got clothes and bathroom supplies, makeup everywhere, a laptop.
Yeah.
There's definitely somebody here. What's going on? So they say, you know, there's no one there. But it shows a flashback. Well, no, it's not a flashback. He calls up his friend because he's in town. And he's like, hey, do you want to go drinking and clubbing or whatever? So they go out, and the dude, his friend, I don't know who that was, or what his name was, but that friend that he was talking to was actually the director, by the way.
Oh, really?
Little mini fear fact. It was the director. But he asked him, like, hey, you know, did you do it? And, you know, I'm your bro. You can tell me. I'm not going to say anything. Kind of seems weird. Like, if he would admit, you know, that he raped somebody, you wouldn't tell anyone? Kind of seems strange.
Yeah.
But, so he's saying, you know, tell me what actually happened. And he's like, well, I didn't rape her. She didn't. So, and he goes, so she gave you permission? He's like, well, not exactly, but
yeah,
I'm a persuasive guy, so I eventually got permission. So it begs the question: did he rape her?
Yeah.
Like, the way he phrased it sounds like he did. But in the other way, it's like he eventually got permission. So it sounds like it took weeks of convincing her, or something. The way he said it. So it's like, we still don't have a definitive answer by the end of the movie, whether he did or didn't. It kind of seems like he did to me.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Like, as of right now, I'm saying that he did.
He did.
But the way he phrased it was like, I took like 4 weeks, and then she eventually came around and was like, yeah, okay, we'll do it, or whatever. Which...
I don't love that.
No, I don't either. That still seems kind of scummy to do.
Yeah, definitely scummy.
But, I don't know. It just seems like... You know, the way he was trying to go about it was like make him look better. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Which, anybody in that situation, I guess, would have tried making themselves look better, or at least tell their friends that that didn't happen. But I don't know. I've never been in the position. I don't plan on being there. In his position, I mean.
Yeah.
So, we go back to the normal. He goes back home. He wakes up in the morning and everything. And the basement door was open. Or no, it was open earlier. But he decides to go down into the basement because didn't he hear a noise, I think?
Yeah.
He heard a noise in the basement and he goes down saying, "Hey, I have a gun. I'm going to kill you if you don't, show yourself," or whatever the hell. Kind of seems like a big leap, but sure. You're going to shoot him.
Sure.
You don't even know who it is. It could be one of the renters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But who knows? Anyway, he's threatening them with violence if they don't, show their face or whatever you want to say. And he goes down into the basement and he sees like that whole contraption that Tess had set up to get light down into the tunnel.
Uh-huh.
And he thought it was weird. I also would think it was weird. But he realizes that there's a secret door, and he's calling around trying to sell this house to make money for his defense lawyer and stuff. But instead of like being worried like why there was a spare tunnel that he didn't know about in his house, he's more worried about how many square feet he can get.
Yeah.
And like trying to get more money, which is like a scumbag thing to think. Like, he even goes into the tunnel and goes down to the creepy room and was like measuring around the bed.
Yeah, like you're nuts.
And the bucket and the camera.
You're
like
nuts.
not even asking questions. Like who the hell does that kind of thing?
Not me. Won't
No,
catch
definitely
me
not
doing
me. Yeah, no, me either. But it's like you're a psychopath. You know?
That's all.
That's it. You're a psychopath. And it's one thing to want to get as much space as possible, but you should probably like call the police and be like, "Hey, there's this secret tunnel in my house that I had absolutely zero idea was even in there.
Yep.
Why don't you come look in case, something happened in here, because I don't want to be the one to blame."
Uh-huh.
But no, he finds the second door and he starts measuring again. I don't know, he's just the most like self-absorbed, confused character in this whole movie.
I know.
At least the other two knew what they wanted. You know what I mean? He's just like, I don't care about anybody but myself, I guess. But he's measuring down this long tunnel where Keith gets killed, which Keith's corpse is gone, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that this was like a couple days or something has gone by. But he gets chased by the creature and into this this hole in the ground where he finds Tess. Which is a good moment because, Tess is found, but it's also like he's stuck now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how well is this gonna go?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not very well. Not to me. But then it kind of shifts directions a little bit. It shows the man buying baby supplies.
Uh-huh.
And it also shows, which I thought was kind of weird, the way he was talking. He was very like robotic and rigid.
Oh yeah.
He does something that was very weird. It was that he saw this lady at the store, and he decides to stalk and follow her to her house, dress as a maintenance man, get inside her house, and he unlocks her window, which can't be good. It doesn't show what happens, like why he did that, but we can all pretty much guess,
Yes.
why he did that. Especially when he goes back home and he opens the basement door and you just hear screaming. That's definitely the moment you're like, okay, this dude's fucked up.
This guy's fucked up.
But it cuts there. It fades to, or well, not fades to black. It cuts to black right there. So we don't actually know what was going on. But the creature comes to feed them milk. Which is pretty fucking disgusting.
Gross.
I didn't write it down, but in that moment, the hair from her wig accidentally came off. Like the actor's wig who did the creature came off onto the nipple of the bottle. And that was an accident, but the director thought it looked disgusting, so he added more.
Ew.
He added more hair to it. But the creature takes AJ away from the hole because he didn't do what she wanted. He didn't pretend to be her baby. And it was at this moment that Tess decided to seize her chance and escape, which she then immediately finds the man that chased her from the beginning. He helps her out of the window that was broken. But he explains everything to her, like, hey, the woman down there is the daughter of the daughter of the daughter.
Right.
And he's like, a copy of a copy, and you kind of get fucked up after a while. Just, pretty fucked up. So he explains everything, like, don't be here at night, stuff like that. But then AJ escapes the creature and finds Frank, which is the dude who unlocked the window earlier, the baby man. So we find out that he's actually been having babies with his babies.
Lovely.
While apparently he brutally raped women in that room with the camera bed and bucket.
Very sad.
Very sad. But then Tess finds the cops, and they don't believe her, which kind of seems like something you could get them fired for. The way they were acting kind of seems like wrong to me.
A little shitty.
And I get it, it was like a druggy neighborhood, like worn down, only druggies probably cause problems there and stuff, but it's like, should at least check it out. You're the ones with guns. What the hell is this girl gonna do? And I get it, she didn't have the key, couldn't open the door or whatever, but it's like, she rented it. And now she's saying that there's someone in there who kidnapped not only her, but there's another guy who's also kidnapped, and you don't even want to check it out?
You don't care?
You don't care at all? It seems weird to me. But the cops don't believe her. But it was at this moment that Tess actually hits the creature with the car. Which I thought was a crazy moment. I thought the creature was finally dead and we wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. But, she saves AJ, right? And the creature's gone. Somehow gets out from behind the car and just disappears, which is never a good sign in a horror movie.
No, and it makes you think that there's gonna be another.
Yeah, like there's gonna be another killer or something, or another creature. Like the baby that she was looking for or whatever. But like, how many times has, Michael Myers been hit by a car or killed, but then gone, shot,
pushed out a window,
but then gone, and then came back for another movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So this is never good.
This is never good.
But they find the man in the tower, right? And he's like, "You shouldn't have done that." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "She won't come in here. This. I've been here for a long time. And she's never been here before, or whatever." It was also at this very moment that she burst through the wall.
Literally, that was so scary.
Yeah, that got me.
Yeah.
I was definitely not expecting it. Yeah, I was spooked for sure. But it was like the wrong moment. You know what I mean? Like he was like, "Oh yeah, she won't come here."
Nah,
immediately burst in the wall. It's like, you spoke a little too soon there, bud. You're
quick.
a little too confident. But they start climbing the water tower to escape the creature,
Yeah.
right? But then it was at this moment that AJ had a terrible conscience and threw Tess off the water tower.
Yeah.
He's like, I can escape, but you have to slow her down.
Yep.
So he throws her.
That's
Which,
fucked
in
up.
his brain, thinking like him, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, you know, why wouldn't the creature jump after her
Yeah, exactly.
when that's her quote-unquote baby?
Yeah, exactly.
So it was smart on his end, but it was also a dick
Shitty.
move. Yeah, like, you had the
Little
gun,
shitty.
and your clumsy ass dropped the gun. But AJ throws Tess off the roof, and the creature actually jumps after her, like, exactly like he thought that she would do. So AJ, after throwing Tess off, the creature jumps off. They hit the ground. He goes down to the bottom, and we see that the creature is still alive.
Uh-huh.
Ends up killing AJ, shoving her thumbs into his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Which I kind of wanted AJ to live, but also I wasn't completely sad by his character's death.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, like, meh.
It was like, well, I wish he would have lived. It would have been nice, like a redemption story. We could have seen if he actually raped her and stuff too, and like had resolution. But it's also like, he should be dead. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He was a dick the entire time anyway. But then, you know, Tess ends up killing, quote unquote, her mother, the creature,
Her mother.
and she gets her brains blown out, and it's actually dead this time. Like,
Yeah.
for real.
For realsies.
And that's where the movie ends. And I thought that this movie is definitely one of a kind. Can't think of too many movies that do it quite like this. Can you?
No, not at all.
Not like make it one person's the killer and then have some other thing, not even like a different human murderer like Scream does, but like a creature. I know, you know, it used to be human or whatever the fuck, but like it's a creature. You got some weird thing.
Inbred, scary
yeah,
ass
like it wasn't
creature.
even like another person or
Yeah.
anything. And like this is definitely not your normal horror movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is definitely
agree.
different. So I actually give it like a probably 7.5, I think.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
I think 7 was a little bit low, but it's only 0.5. I only gave it 0.5 higher,
Yeah.
but still, it was a pretty good movie. So I have a few fear facts here, and for the first one, Brake, who was Frank in the movie, he was the old man down in the basement or whatever. The actor actually went to one of the screenings of this movie in he had like a hat and a hoodie on or whatever.
Yeah.
He was trying to be incognito. And when the movie, and he could hear that there were a bunch of people that were like into the movie. They were enjoying it. Movie's over, they're leaving, and the light catches his face.
Yeah.
To where one of the people sitting behind him that were like terrified of the movie realized it was him. And apparently they started screaming and ran out of the movie theater.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I mean, if it was me, you know, that'd be freaky to see, like, the character you just... But it's like, it's the actor. You know it's a movie. Like, so it's kind of... I kind of wonder, I hope he didn't, like, feel bad or something. You know what I mean?
I know.
I hope
Make
he
him a
didn't,
little
like,
sad.
am I ugly or something? Like, I hope he didn't
Aww.
feel terrible. Kind of feel bad for him a little bit.
I know.
So, for my second fear fact, AJ was actually supposed to be Zac Efron.
Ah!
And I don't know who I wanted more to be.
I don't know.
Justin Long is amazing,
I love Zac Efron.
but I also love Zac Efron, exactly. So I don't know who would have been better. It's kind of one of those what if things. Like, what if Zac Efron did Barbarian or whatever?
Yeah.
And it would be cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they, you know, obviously have completely different, you know, acting styles and stuff.
Yeah.
But for the third one, whenever we go to the daytime and you see all the different, beaten down houses and stuff covered in graffiti, there was actually one of the graffiti that said "Death from Below," referencing the creature. Kind of a foreshadow type deal, just kind of a blink and you'll miss it thing.
Yeah.
So there was a line from Keith where he said, "What do I look like, a monster?" But it's kind of funny that he said that line because he is a monster. He's Pennywise.
Yeah. He's a monster, alright.
And this movie was made after he was already Pennywise. So they put that in there purposely. It was like, what do I look like, a monster? Yeah, you do, because you are Pennywise.
What do I look like, a scary clown?
Yeah, exactly. And there was a moment, well, not a moment, but a big part of the movie where Frank puts on the boiler suit and everything.
Yeah.
He is actually supposed to resemble Michael Myers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for that was the final fear effect, but it was meant for him to kind of be similar to Michael Myers.
Yeah.
In that moment. Cool. So why don't you read the next question?
What type of virus is unleashed in the 2016 movie Train to Busan?
Haven't seen it, but I want to. Seems good. So if you know the answer, put it on the Facebook. If not, better luck next time.
Better luck next time.
Sis, why don't you tell them what our next movie is?
Our next movie is Talk to Me.
It's another A24 movie.
Okay. Cool.
As everyone probably knows, I love A24 movies.
Don't blame you.
Especially after watching, like, Hereditary and Midsommar, and then ever since then I've just wanted to see, like, every A24.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But Talk to Me is another A24 movie.
Cool.
I've been wanting to see it for a while, but I know that we would have done it on this podcast eventually, so I just held off.
Yeah.
But a lot of people really enjoyed it, so I'm actually kind of excited to watch it.
Cool. Me too.
I've noticed that some of these episodes have been getting close to like 45 minutes instead of half an hour, so
that's okay.
Enjoy. But yeah, thanks for listening. We are on YouTube now, so subscribe to our YouTube. You have to go, either the link is on our Facebook, but you have to actually go to YouTube and type in /Your Siblings Podcast and everything. But
sorry for the homework.
Yeah, but yeah, share it with your friends, your dogs, your neighbors, your grandma.
Your grandma for sure, definitely.
Everyone that loves horror movies.
Totally.
Your 3-month-old baby.
Yep. Tell them about it.
Tell him Matthew wants him. Tell him Matthew wants him to listen. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week with Talk to Me.
Catch you later.